Hello, welcome, and thanks for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Shaniqua Robinson for Sandra Gumansing. 3 local entities have joined forces to bring a major port to St. Croix: the Virgin Islands Economic Development Authority, St. Croix Renaissance Group, and the VI Port Authority recently signed a memorandum of understanding to develop the use of the territory's marine assets to better the economy. News 2's Erica Parson has more.
The VI Economic Development Authority and its new partners hope to capitalize on the expansion of the Panama Canal. The EDA, the VI's Port Authority, and the St. Croix Renaissance Group recently signed an agreement to work together to help develop a major new port on St. Croix.
We think that the time is right, and it's an opportunity for us to provide some jobs, provide some development, and diversify the economy based on what's happening in the shipping business.
The Panama Canal is expected to double its capacity by 2015, which would allow larger ships to get through. That means there will be more freight traffic going through the Caribbean, and the MOU means the VI could be poised to take advantage with the creation of an international transshipment port.
It's a prime port for development to accommodate transshipment, containerized operation, storage.
The group expects that boosting the marine port industry for the territory will bring jobs as well as a spike in economic development for St. Croix, which is the focus.
Since the closure of Hess, we haven't found a substitute as yet. And while I know the governor is working to get the refinery sold and back in operations to provide some jobs for people on St. Croix, and to revive the business activity, we, on the other hand, saw this opportunity and is seizing it to develop the assets, the port assets on St. Croix.
Governor DeYoung supports the move, saying we are fortunate to have a range of port facilities that to date have been underutilized, but with changing market conditions and our focus on economic diversification, we are well positioned to take advantage of regional opportunities. Erica Parsons, News 2.
Director Clouden says his office is scheduling a meeting with the heads of the other entities to see how they can move forward on this project. The group is looking at using the St. Croix Renaissance Park, which has more than 1,000 acres, and Deepwater Port. Meanwhile, the governor has expressed his support for adequate funding of the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, or LIHEAP. He joined 13 other governors across the nation and signed his name to a letter addressed to the chair of the U.S. Senate Appropriations Committee. Governor DeYoung's endorsement supports funding LIHEAP at $3.6 billion level in a bill for fiscal year 2014. The letter focused on how important the LIHEAP is to Americans, particularly those who are elderly, disabled, or caring for dependent children. The Government Employees Retirement System's offices in both districts will be closed on Thursday and Friday. Of course, Thursday is Thanksgiving, and the others will be closed on both days in recognition of the holiday. On Friday, December 13th, the GERS will be hosting their annual employee recognition ceremony, so both district offices will be closed on that day to allow employees to participate. The office will reopen for regular business at 8 a.m. on Monday, December 2nd. Police on St. Croix, St. Thomas, and St. John are still actively investigating some crimes that occurred during the month, including shootings and robberies. And they are asking the community for information to help them arrest and ultimately solve these crimes. News 2's April Knight brings you Crime Stoppers, Crimes for the Week.
Your Crime Stoppers report for this week. If you have any information about these crimes or any persons involved, you're urged to call Crime Stoppers USVI at 1-800-222-TIPS or submit a web tip. You never have to give your name or appear in court. Crime Stoppers USVI will pay a cash reward of up to $2,500 for information on the following crimes. On St. Croix on Monday, November 18th at about 2:30 p.m., a 42-year-old male was shot and killed in the vicinity of the Vincent Mason Pool in Fredericksted. Victim Sergeant David Francois, a member of the Virgin Islands National Guard, was on an outing with his wife when an unknown person or persons took his life. If you were in the area of the pool or Target Wall Beach area and heard gunshots or saw anyone in the area at the time of the shooting, let police know. On St. John on Wednesday, November 6th, police received a report that parts had been removed from a 2000 white GMC truck. This theft occurred in the area of Susannaburg. The entire dashboard was removed and several parts of the engine. The owner last saw his vehicle intact on September 27th. If you know anything about this theft, contact Crime Stoppers or police. On St. Thomas on Saturday, November 16th at 1 a.m., two Spanish-speaking men left a bar and walked in the area of Garden Street when two armed masked men approached them. The robbers tried to grab one of the victim's bag but couldn't because the two men took off running. The robbers then shot at them, injuring them both. Again, you are urged to call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS or submit a web tip. You can also go to www.crimestoppersusvi.org. And that was your Crime Stopper report for this week. I'm April Knight for News 2.
Remember that all your tips come in anonymous and that you never have to reveal your identity or appear in court. You can go to www.crimestoppersusvi.org for more information. A day of pride, honor, and bravery. That is what attendees are calling the VI Freedom Fighters Day, which is celebrated annually on the 23rd of November. In commemoration of the event, the VI Division of Virgin Islands Cultural Education has put together a presentation illustrating the 1733 St. John Revolt, designed to educate and inspire through the recounting of the journey to freedom that many Virgin Islands slaves took on November 23, 1733, when they rose up against their owners. Meanwhile, Governor DeYoung is asking residents to help support disaster efforts across the globe. The governor said the VI has a large Filipino community locally and their country has suffered massive devastation with the recent typhoon. He reminds residents that we know what life is like after a natural disaster and asks that money or aid be donated to the Filipino Association. For more information, contact 774-9266. You can also give the local chapters of the Red Cross or by visiting www.redcross.org. Major companies are offering relief efforts for the Philippines in the wake of the typhoon Haiyan. AT&T Wireless customers will be eligible for unlimited calls and texts until November 30th. Landline and Uverse voice customers will get up to 60 minutes of direct dialing calling to the Philippines. Verizon is also waiving charges on residential landlines through December 7th. Wireless customers on the postpaid plans are also eligible. Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile says that they are also letting people send texts to donate $10 to selected charities. The donations will be added to phone bills, and they are waiving the usual text messaging and processing charges so that the entire amount goes to the charities. Meanwhile, Apple is letting people donate to the American Red Cross through the iTunes online store to help with the Haiyan relief effort. The University of the Virgin Islands is trying to find out how locals feel about climate change in the territory. The Caribbean Green Technology Center is asking residents to complete a survey that would measure their awareness about the climate change issue, about climate justice, and also how interested they would be in taking a public stance about climate change. The surveys must be completed before December 13th. If you're interested, you can visit www.surveymoney.com and search for VI Climate Change Survey. You can also visit the UVI website at www.uvi.edu for more information. The rollout of the Affordable Care Act has introduced some confusion among insurance subscribers, most recently those who are under Medicaid coverage. Some senior residents in Florida are concerned that doctors are dropping certain insurance plans, and many are asking if it is because of the Affordable Care Act. CBS' Amanda Warford reports from Florida.
One of the most important relationships Susan Mosen has is with her doctor.
Once you get close to a doctor and you get used to a doctor, you want to go back to that doctor.
But thousands of Florida seniors like Mosen could soon be forced to find a new one.
When the president said you're going to keep your doctor, he was talking about Affordable Care Act, not about Medicare.
To help fund the new health care law next year, $156 billion has been cut from Medicare Advantage, also known as Medicare Part C.
Hundreds to thousands of doctors in the state of Florida.
Now, Dr. Daniel Cantor says private insurance companies are telling some Florida doctors they're no longer part of the program.
Medicare doesn't usually allow out-of-network, which means that you're all on your own.
With Medicare enrollment ending on December 7th, a quarter of all seniors are now scrambling to find answers.
And when open enrollment closes and you don't know which insurance plan you should be on, and your doctor's not on it, you're stuck.
That leaves folks like Mosen just 13 days to be sure they can still see their doctors.
I'm following their lead and hope that their lead is correct and, that nothing changes in the meanwhile.
Keeping our eye on the economy, some 2 million Americans are expected to travel this Thanksgiving weekend, and with severe weather hitting large parts of the U.S., Delta and U.S. Airways have already begun to waive some fees associated with changing flights. Home builders will be happy this holiday season. Permits to build houses and apartments are up 6.2% since September. According to the Department of Commerce, that is the fastest rate since June of 2008, just before the financial meltdown. This is the New York Stock Exchange with Scotiabank Stock Market Watch. And everything's up. Dow, 0.26, NASDAQ, 23, and S&P, 0.27. Coming up in News 2, more on the cultural grand musical affair scheduled for January that will honor Virgin Islands musicians and raise funds for music in schools. We'll be right back. Starting Wednesday, the Children's Room and Young Adults area at the Charles Turnbull Regional Library will be open. Officials from the Division of Libraries, Archives, and Museums announced that the library services will be available for the youth from Wednesday, 9 to 5 p.m. The library will also be open on Friday, November 29th. The Von Schulten Collection will be open by appointments only on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 4:45 p.m. A grand opening for the entire library is being planned for the future and will be announced at a later date. Don't miss the opportunity to hear the UVI Entrepreneur-in-Chief, Mr. Kirill Sokoloff, speak on Friday, December 6th. Sokoloff has been involved in almost every aspect of finance, from commercial banking and hedge fund management to venture capital and private equity investment. Sokoloff founded 13D Research, Inc. in 1983, which is an independent institutional global research firm. This event will take place in room ACC 142 on UVI St. Thomas campus and room 401 in the EVC building on the Albert A. Shee campus on St. Croix. A series of musical events entitled A Grand Cultural Musical Affair are scheduled for January and will recognize Virgin Islands musicians as well as raise funds for musical education in the territory. Here are some details. Senators Sean Michael Malone and Clifford Graham announced that a series of musical events entitled A Great Cultural Musical Affair are scheduled for January and will recognize Virgin Islands musicians and raise funds for musical education in the territory.
Looking at where we are with respect to the public school system, we have deficiencies in the respect that a lot of the school really don't have the instrument that they need to really help the student take it to the next level.
A grand cultural musical affair will include educational workshops and feature renowned drummer and VI native Dion Parsons and the 21st Century Band. The event will recognize the achievements of Virgin Islanders who have made a name for themselves in the music industry.
What I teamed up with Senator Malone to do is really have two benefit performances. One, a benefit banquet to honor the Dion Parsons and the 21st Century Band for everything that they have done in the world of music and putting the Virgin Islands on the map with their great performance, and also to do a benefit concert the following evening to raise money. All of this is being done to raise money so we can give the students in the public school system instrument in their hands, so that at least when they're mentoring through the art program comes to the school, there are instruments there and the students can really take it to the next level.
The Grand Cultural Musical Affair events will be St. Croix Educational Workshop on Wednesday, January 22nd, St. Thomas Educational Workshop on Thursday, January 23rd, the sponsors VIP welcome reception on Friday, January 21st at Emerald Beach Resort from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m., the awards dinner banquet on Saturday, January 23rd at Sugar Bay Resort from 6:30 p.m., and a jazz concert on Saturday, January 26th at the Reichel Center for the Arts.
Studies have proven that students participating in school bands and orchestra get better grades, have a better critical thinking skills, have better critical thinking skills, are much more likely to attend college and do a lot more generally in life.
Further information about the event or becoming a sponsor can be obtained by calling Rochelle Cornero at 693-3599 or Delvin Duggins at 693-3615. The deadline for individuals and organizations wishing to participate in the 2014 AgriFest to register with the AgriFest Steering Committee has been extended to Wednesday, November 27th. The Agriculture and Food Fair of the U.S. Virgin Islands will be held on February 15th through the 17th of 2014. This year's agriculture's theme is Agriculture. We've always been green. For more information and exhibit specifications, contact Clarice Clark at cclarke@uvi.edu. Veterans and their families are encouraged to get out Saturday for a healthy vet walk. The Office of Veterans Affairs is hosting the walk to encourage everyone to exercise and live healthier, especially the older soldiers. The walk will start at 4 p.m. from the American Legion Hall in Sub Base, proceed up the waterfront, and end at Roosevelt Park. The first 100 people to register will get a free t-shirt, and at the end of the walk, there will be refreshments and raffle prizes. Veteran service providers will also be available to help with VA benefits. Officials, it's the perfect time to shed those Thanksgiving pounds. The Crown Bay Center, Austin Babe Monsanto Marine Terminal, invites elementary schools on St. Thomas to participate in their first Christmas card decorating contest. The contest is open to all elementary schools on St. Thomas and should depict a scene or local tradition of Christmas in the Virgin Islands. Submissions will be accepted from November 25th through December 13th. Gifts will be made to the schools that submit the winning cards, and holiday parties will be provided for the winning students class, sponsored by the Crown Bay Center. For more information, contact Vicky Armstrong at 774-2132, extension 22. Stick around, your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.